everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Wildlife Wonders podcast. Woo! I'm your host, the one, the only, Siriana, back at it again with another episode on another week. You guys, I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting and continue to support and watching these YouTube videos because I don't know, you guys, I was kind of nervous about doing them. One, speaking to the camera directly, because I was like, who wants to see someone just talk to the camera and that's it? But I'm actually getting a decent response to it, so I'm excited. I want to see how this goes. We're going to continue the YouTube videos. If you are not listening on YouTube, that is a-okay, because this is also on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. Before we go any further, if you're on YouTube or on one of the podcast platforms, I would like for you to you can like the page, like this video, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. That way you can stay up to date on all the latest content, all the latest animal facts, and if I have any announcements, because it will be here. If you are not already, I would also like for you to check us out on Instagram, Wildlife Wonders Podcast with an S, all one word, and that is also where you can see the latest updates. I post clips, videos, and pictures of animals I talk about, and even animals I haven't talked about, because why do we only need one fact every 2 weeks? We need to know more. Without further ado, I do appreciate every one of you once again, and we're just going to get right into it. So with season 3, we have already talked about a bird, which was the tawny frogmouth bird. We have already talked about a fish, the great white shark. We have already talked about a mammal, which was the Highland cattle. This week, we are going to talk about a reptile. Yes, a reptile. I personally love reptiles, okay? I have one myself. I have a bearded dragon named Roscoe, if you haven't seen him already. And I had another bearded dragon named Pogo, who recently passed last month. But I also am a big reptile lover in general. I have had snakes. My family has a snake. They had a monitor. Reptile love over here. They're just so easy. They're so chill. In general, a lot of people also like reptiles. But today we're going to talk about a reptile a little bit closer to home. So we are going to talk about the cottonmouth viper. The cottonmouth viper is found on the southeastern region of the United States. If you're listening to this in another country, I am currently in the United States, and this is my stomping ground, the southeastern side. But you can find it outside of the southeastern side if they have been moved by humans, or maybe sanctuary zoos, or sometimes animals are just not in the right environment they're supposed to be for whatever reason. So they are usually found in aquatic areas or near woodlands. They're great swimmers, so you'll find them around lakes, rivers, marshes. You might find them in little caves. You might also see them in swamps, usually in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Carolinas, and among some of the other areas. When I say Carolinas, there's North Carolina and then South Carolina. We are not one state. It is two separate. I've lived in both, and right now I live in North Carolina. Just want to put that out there for the people that lump Carolinas together. For shelter, they usually stay under rocks, hollow trees, any thick vegetation, or dense brush. Being that they are in those areas, that is to be, what is the word? I am trying to say, be very careful when you're walking through the woods, when you're walking through a field, and you think, oh, it's just rocks and leaves, because you could possibly step on a cottonmouth viper, and they are venomous. They can kill you very, very quickly. Now, not to say every time you step on them they'll strike, but hey, if someone was to step on you on the ground, how would you feel? Behavior-wise, they are active hunters, and they use their venom to immobilize and digest their prey. They do not constrict their prey at all. They only use their venom to incapacitate them. So they are not constrictors, they are vipers. Venom-wise, they also use their venom to break down their tissue. It is very dangerous to humans, but bites are rarely fatal if they are treated right away. Now, if you're in the middle of the woods and you can't get to the hospital or a doctor or something right away, you might lose the leg. You might fall victim to the venom. But if you can get to the hospital right away, they can usually do something about it. They are usually known to be territorial. They also are solitary animals unless they are mating. They will hiss very loudly. Sometimes they thump their like tail or move their tail around and they're threatened. They might get very still, like what's going on, like what you trying to do, until they do their dancey dance to let you know, like, hey, you're in my spot now. You're messing with the flow of things. They will open their mouth really, really wide. Hence the name Cottonmouth, because on the inside it's like a cotton-like appearance. It is white. So they open their mouth really wide to say, hey, I'm giving you a warning. This is your chance. You need to back up and leave. They can also strike when they're provoked. They usually are less aggressive than other pit vipers, but if they feel threatened and you are in their space, they can bite you. Outside of that, they're mostly by themselves. They're mostly relaxed, chill snakes, as chill as they can be. And when it's mating season, they get busy and they get with their mate, but then they go back to solitary. Diet-wise, they can eat fish, amphibians, small mammals, birds, and reptiles. They will eat other snakes if it's in their diet of the day. And they hunt near the water's edge, but they will eat land animals if they need to. Size and characteristics. You're probably wondering, if it's a venomous snake, how big is it? Well, boys and girls, they're only 1 to 2 pounds. Yes, they are not really heavy snakes. Now, lengthwise, 30 to 48 inches or up to 74 inches. Females are larger than males. So the females can be up to 60 inches while the males are usually 30 to 45 inches. So majority of the time, if you see a bigger one, it might be a female, just because the females are usually bigger. Not guaranteed, but the females are usually bigger. I'm just saying. Coloration can vary depending on where they are, what environment they're in, food supply, genetics, all that. But they can usually be dark, olive brown, black body, cross brands, or patches on them. The younger ones are usually lighter. So when they're juvenile, little kids, they're usually lighter with brighter patterns. It helps them blend a little bit better because they're smaller and they often get eaten first. There are some that are water snakes that are not venomous, though Cottonmouth specifically have a thicker triangular head. This is how you can tell that they are the venomous ones. So if you see this one, this is venomous. If you see this one, this is not venomous, okay? Very easy to get them mixed up sometimes, but be aware either way. Their bodies are stout muscular, usually designed for swimming, and they have heat sensing pits. This is part of the pit viper family. The heat sensing pits is between their eyes and nostrils, so right here, and it allows them to detect warm-blooded prey in low light. Eyes, like most snakes, are vertical. That's pretty normal, and they hunt at night. So let's get to this mating. What is mating like for solitary snakes, for venomous snakes? Is it dangerous? Is it cool? Is it quick? Do they stick with that person? I'm going to answer all those questions right here. So one, Cottonmouth vipers are monogamous. They get with one mate during mating season and they stick with that one mate, and that's it. Now after mating season, it's all for game. Playa, playa. But during mating season, they stick with that one snake. How does that work? How do they choose what snake they get with for mating season? Well, like humans, humans and birds, everybody has their way that they decide what mate they want. Unlike birds, they don't do any showy behavior. They don't flap their bodies around and see who's prettier. Unlike humans, we don't spend all the money and pull out all the shots and the cute flirts to get with them. This is how it works. They have a courtship dance. It is a combat dance between two male snakes. So one male snake says what it is. The other male snake says, you ready? Like, this is my girl. This is my snake. These are going to be my babies. They get together. They rise up and they attack. They intertwine with each other. It's a very intense thing. They intertwine with each other. Their bodies get together. Their heads facing each other. They try to overpower the other snake and get them to the ground. I will say, I don't know if get them to the ground was a euphemism for kill them. But they try to get them to the ground. Whoever gets them to the ground wins the battle. Now here's the catcher. Just because you get them to the ground does not mean you are guaranteed to get that girl. Yeah, I said it. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get that girl. So what's the point? Well, now the female snake has a choice. Well, you're a good fighter. I like you. You can have my babies. But if she decides she doesn't want that snake, she slithers on and finds another one. They get into another dance and then it repeats. So in this species, the female has the choice whether or not she wants to mate with the male and have his snakes, I guess. If they decide to get together, it takes 4 to 6 months for the snakes to develop, and they have viviparous, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, viviparous births. That means they have live births. The snakes come out alive. Snakes come out alive. From that time on, they are on their own. Parents said, you got this. They slither away. The snakes come out live. They come out with their own venom. So they are venomous from the time they're born. I don't know if you ever heard this before, but usually baby venomous snakes are more dangerous than adults because they don't know how to control how much venom they put out when they strike. So either way, the babies are born. They're on their own. That's it. Adults go off and that's the end of that. Usually their late mating season is the late summer to early fall, and they have about 6 to 20 snakes. Do all of them survive? Probably not. They're small, they're venomous, but honestly, a lot of animals get to them before they reach adulthood. So that is how that works. There is no protection for the offspring other than their own venom that they have from the beginning. Other than that, they're on their own. They're lighter. They try to blend in, but everything eats them. Which brings us to the predators. Who are their predators? Well, you have hawks, eagles, owls, you have mammals. But here's the kicker. 2 of the predators I didn't expect on this list when I was doing my research was raccoons and possums. Raccoons are some sneaky little things. They actually eat a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think. But they can eat the cottonmouth vipers, usually the babies, but I guess if they're strong enough, they could take an adult. And possums, because possums are immune to the venom of many snakes, including the cottonmouth viper, which I didn't know. It's pretty cool. So possums and raccoons are their ops as well. Then you have coyotes and foxes. The big birds of prey, kind of obvious. They take down baby deers and stuff sometimes. And then, of course, coyotes and foxes mostly come after the young, but they can get the adults. They're just harder and more dangerous for them to catch. So they're like, why waste my time when I can get the baby? Now, there's also larger snakes because snakes eat snakes. So sometimes king snakes, other cottonmouths. Those 2 are immune to the venom of the pit vipers. So why not eat something that I'm not allergic or I'm immune to? Then you have alligators and then humans. Humans are not usually eating the venomous snakes, but they might use them for medical reasons. They might use them for habitat they might harm them with habitat destruction, hunting, and on accident. Sometimes a dog or someone gets into an area where there's venomous snakes and then the humans kill them for protection, I guess. So without all that intervention or all those other issues and predators, if left alone and if they survive, they can survive up to 10 to 15 years, which is not super long. I honestly thought it would be longer than that time, but only 10 to 15 years. Fun fact, with bearded dragons in captivity, sometimes they can also survive up to 15 years, but they're well cared for, given a cage, fed every day. So it makes me wonder, in captivity, how long cottonmouths can survive if they were to be held. I would have to look that up, and maybe I'll put that on the Instagram page or like a note in the podcast somewhere. Just something to think about. Conservation status, of course, they're not really endangered. They're everywhere. The biggest thing for them is just habitat destruction and human activities that bothers them. But outside of that, they're not to be worried about. And lastly, we have gotten to the end and I'm hitting you with the fun facts. Now, some of the things I've already mentioned, like how they have live young is pretty cool. Great swimmers is pretty cool. I mean, this is not a fact about them, but they're predators, that possums are immune to their venom. But I have 3 others that I have not really mentioned or talked much about and that you probably don't know. So sit back and relax and I'm gonna hit you with these facts. So 1, they smiled when they are threatened. They get their name because inside their mouth is a cotton white appearance. So when they are threatened, they open their mouths really, really wide so you can see all the white on the inside. And it's meant to warn predators like, back up, I'm about to strike you. Like, this is your final warning. The problem with this, it looks like they're smiling. So like that, you know? So it's kind of hard to see that as a threat, but just know if you see it and it looks like it's smiling, it's time to move away because it's about to strike. 2, cottonmouths are amazing swimmers. Why else would they live by water? I would not live by a waterfront if I couldn't swim. They're amazing swimmers. They often hunt in and around the water like water snakes, and they're usually seen swimming in lakes, rivers, and marshes. That being said, be careful when you're going into lakes, rivers, and marshes because there could be a cottonmouth viper there in the southeastern area of the US. They have flattened tails, which helps them get through the water quickly, and they can stay under for several minutes to hunt for their prey. And lastly, their venom helps them hunt. Like I said in the beginning, it immobilizes their prey and sometimes kills their prey, so it makes it easier. But did you know it helps them digest their prey as well? The enzymes in the venom help break down their prey's tissue and make it easier to digest for the snake, while also helping them absorb the nutrients from their prey. If that's not cool, I don't know what is. To me, that's pretty awesome. That's better than like, oh yeah, they're venomous, but it's also helping them, not just killing their prey or not just harming their prey. So that is my 3 fun facts. Hope one of them was new to you. I think for me, all 3 were new. This was a new snake for me, a new animal. So when y'all learn, I learned too. Either way, you've made it to the end of another Wildlife Wonders podcast episode. I hope you enjoy. I hope you will continue to listen and share with others that don't know about the podcast. I know you know at least one animal lover out there, at least one. And if I don't talk about the one animal they love, I probably will in the future. Continue to like, continue to subscribe, continue to follow on all platforms, and I'll see you here in another week. Every other Friday. That's when the episodes drop, every other Friday. Now, I'm new to the YouTube editing. We're still learning. We're still trying to catch up with that with the old episodes and the new ones. So that might not be on schedule right now, but stay tuned because they're all coming out. And hopefully we get on the regular schedule of that coming on a certain day every week. But for right now, just bear with me. It's a new journey. I'm sorry. But I love to see y'all. I love to hear from y'all. Have a wonderful day. Bye.